Right, welcome to another lesson in high school ICT. In this lesson we want to look at how we create a query. So I have my database here and I've added extra records by using my form, and it's pulled through because I did link it. It's pulled through and I've added Bob and Skulk to my database. Alright, so I want to create a query where I want all the male patients that have seen, we're going to do one that has seen Dr. Brown, then we'll create a query where we've seen Dr. Brown or Dr. Jones. So the idea of a query is to pull certain information. So if you think about it, we have a database with all the student names, all the different subjects, and I want to pull, I want to create a report that I'm going to send out to your parents, where I want all the year 10 students, all the IGCSE students who do ICT, maths and English. So I will create a criteria, I'll create a query, set the criteria, and that'll pull all those names. And then I can send a report, and a report we'll do in another lesson. So I could say, well, find all the male students who, all the male patients, sorry, who have seen Dr. Brown, and you would have to go and see male Dr. Brown, male Dr. Brown. And that would take you a long time, especially if you have 1,000 patients. So we click on the Create tab, and we're going to go to our query grouping. I will also show you how to use the query wizard in a second video, but for now we're just going to talk about the query design. Okay. You can add tables from here. You can click add table, or you can drag it in. So this is the table that I'm going to use. It's important to do that because in the table that I'm going to use, I could pull more than one in, especially if you've got a relational table, and then because sometimes we would want to pull a query that has some information from the one table as well as the second table, and they've been linked relationally, which we did in a previous video. Then you would need to pull both in, but for now we're just using the one. Then the field, I want to use, I want the patient's name, I want to know their gender, I'd like to know their date of birth, and I want to know if they've paid, and I want to know who their dentist is. Okay. Now the query wizard is a lot easier than having to go individually through it as this process, and I'll show you that, but it's important that you know how this works. Now you will see that all these blocks are ticked, so in other words, when you run your query, all these fields will show. Sometimes in the exam they might ask you to run a query to pull certain information, but only to show certain information. So you would need to have all the fields to gain the information, but they might ask you not to show all the fields. So for example, I then need to know their date of birth, and I don't need to know if I don't need to show whether they've paid or not, but I need that information to run the query that I want to run. Okay, so again, what's important is to go to your table and see how you've named your field. Okay, there it is, and the criteria has made a payment. So I'm going to put him over there, and you see that automatically in Acces it puts the quotation marks around. If it doesn't, you'll need to do that. And for payment, I want to say all those that have paid, and it would be not null. Okay. And then I want everyone who has seen Dr. Brown. And again, important, go back to your table and see how you spelt. You can see whoever captured this put doctor with a capital D, capital R, so later when I create my query, I will need to make sure that I do that. So at the moment I am using the AND operator. I'm saying I want all the males and all those who have paid and see Dr. Brown. And then once we've done that, we are going to run our query. Okay, and over here we're going to click run, and I've got Bob, male, seen Dr. Brown, and if I decide to include payment, you'll see it shows that they have paid. Now I might want to put those who are male have paid, so make sure that the criteria is met. I'm going to just tick that because I want to pull that information. Okay, and I'm going to say right, so I want males who have paid and have seen Dr. Brown, all, and I'll put that in a separate line, Dr. Jones. And I'm going to run my query. Okay, and now you can see it's pulled females as well, so I need to tweak my criteria more to ensure that it doesn't pull the females, because I only want the males to pull through. So what we need to understand, what's happening is that the computer is looking for male who have not paid and have seen Dr. Brown, and then it's also looking for anyone who's seen Dr. Jones. I've not specified. So this over here needs to be taken, and it needs to be a OR over there. So please take note. Let me run that and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, and now you can see it's only pulled the males, whereas in the previous one it pulled the males and the females, and the reason for that, I'll just demonstrate it again. Okay, so I've got the OR there, so it's looking for males who have paid and have seen Dr. Brown, and anyone who has seen Dr. Jones. That's why I pulled the females, but I need to make sure that I put this over here, and if I run it, there's the outcome. Right,